Hey, Skull Good Guys here, and this video will be a rather serious and depressing video because an all-time esports GOAT recently passed away. That GOAT being Abdulaziz Al-Yami. I would like to apologize if I butchered his name, though you may better know him as Hax. This sadly happened on March 25th of this year at 7:09 a.m. as confirmed on his social media pages by his parents, leaving this world at the age of 30. Some may argue that players like Mango, Hungrybox, Mewtwo King, or God forbid, Leffen are the greatest of all time, at least when it comes to Super Smash Bros. Melee. But to me personally, they all pale in comparison to what Hax has been able to do, not just in the realm of competitive Melee, but for the entirety of the Smash community as a whole. Though others in said community got praise and recognition for their deeds, Hax until his passing got banished, vilified, and became viewed as a boogeyman of sorts. I just want to let you all know before I go forward, I held off on making this video because I do not want to appear that I am capitalizing on his passing, because I hold a lot of respect for Hax and I hope that he is in a better place. With that being said, I'm going to discuss some of the events that led up to Hax's passing, thus this video will contain sensitive information. So if you want to leave now, feel free to do so. Just be sure to check out the GoFundMe set up by Hax's parents, because they're in a real financial pickle and are struggling to pay for their son's funeral expenses. If you're financially able to, I would suggest pitching in a bit, because Hax did not deserve all the nonsense he had to deal with just so he could be a part of a community that he cherished more than anything. If you've been following the Super Smash Bros. Community for the past 2 years, there has been a movement called #FreeHax. This movement was created ever since he got banned from competing in essentially all Smash competitions across the US back in 2021. Why, you may ask? Because he made a video called Evidence.zip 2, which was a continuation of the Evidence.zip compilation made by pro player Armada as well as other figures in the Smash community against the controversial and rather despicable pro player Leffen. And in this video, he brought up several points of problematic and toxic behavior committed by Leffen, as well as his own experiences with dealing with him. And in this video, he compared Leffen's behavior to being, let's just say, like a certain German dictator, with how he has and still continues to hurt others for the sake of his own ego and career advancement. Sure, you could argue that some points of that video may have been taken a bit too far, and did say things that he did regret later and apologized for numerous times, might I add. But personally, after watching the shenanigans that Leffen has been through, I'd say he's on point. And since many of the Smash tournament organizers have an immense love for their Leffen, they decided to permaban Hax from all American tournaments. Even with all the countless apologies and appeals to get unbanned, as well as forsaking his dignity to get back into the community, the TOs continued to prevent him from doing the one thing in his life that he loved more than anything, which was play Melee competitively, despite an entire movement being created by the community backed by pros such as Hungrybox and Mewtwo King, both of which are victims of Leffen himself. I mean, Hax had to get a passport and go to Mexico just so he could have the chance to compete in Melee when everyone else in North America banned him. I mean, name one, just one other pro player so desperate to compete that they have to go to another country because their very own banished them. Keep in mind, the Smash community is the same community that was willing to unban Nairo, a Smash Ultimate player who admitted to accepting head from an underage boy. It just makes me so mad that people like Hax aren't even allowed to stay, but monsters like Nairo are still able to run amok as if it's just another Tuesday. Another tragic fate that Hax had to face were severe hand injuries, which were caused by him doing super intense hand movements with the GameCube controller, aka the standard controller for competitive Melee. For context, Melee is probably the most difficult esport to play, probably ever. Not because of all the things you have to learn, but because of how physically demanding the game is on your hands. I mean, have you seen the movements players had to perform in rapid succession via hand cam? It's easily comparable to traditional sports when it comes to hand-based injuries, not to mention all the doctors he had to see to play Melee again. This spurred Hacks to create a brand new and innovative controller so he could play Melee again, as well as help those who have faced similar injuries while playing Smash. And how was he rewarded for this invention, you may ask? By having to fight tooth and nail to keep his controller from being banned, because God forbid gamers have easy access to a consistent controller for a console that's been out of print since 2009. Not only that, but others in the community stole his design to create the Frame 1, and to make it open source without Hacks' approval. I mean, just look at the box in the Frame 1 and tell me that the box isn't being ripped off. I dare you. And to be vilified by the creators of the Smash box when he critiqued their creation process for the controller. This has not only led to thousands of dollars being lost by Hacks himself to give back to the community, while still working 15+ hour days on top of that just so he can fund it all, but also legal battles to protect what is his property, which sadly he'll never be avenged for. Even to this day, there are TOs that will be more than willing to gatekeep and ban all button controllers, despite the fact that GameCube controllers are dwindling at rapid rates, and that there are those who want to play Smash but cannot without aid of something like the box. So if you ever see the Frame 1 being sold on the Frame 1 website, do not buy it. You'll be doing a disservice to Hacks and his legacy. Ever since he got banned in 2021, Hacks had numerous times tried and failed to get unbanned, essentially being forced to walk on eggshells for the amusement of Leffen and the TOs that support him. He also tried to run and organize his own tournaments, only for him to be banished from them as well. By saying this, all the Leffen fanatics are gonna come after me, but since I have no interest in being part of the Smash community, I don't care. And besides, the rest of the FGC will not tolerate Leffen's BS, so I got a little bit of leverage here. Anyway, with being withdrawn from his #1 joy in life, as well as being continually exiled for no good reason, despite trying to introduce a new version of Melee, providing universal controller fixes for everyone to be on an even playing field, since GameCube controllers vary so drastically when it comes to being able to do the most essential movements on a competitive level, as well as proposed tweaks for the betterment of the game overall, only to be met with more scrutiny and unjust vilification, which continue to deteriorate his mental health so much that in August of 2024 he attempted to commit game over, to put it lightly, by jumping in front of a moving train, which led to Hacks having to get his right leg removed from his body. Keep in mind, Hacks has been a part of the Melee community since 2008, competing ever since he was 13 years old. The past few weeks have been a real struggle for Hacks health-wise, which sadly contributed to his passing. Just note that it is currently unknown what caused his unaliving specifically, and I advise you not to pressure Hacks' parents or loved ones for more information, because they're already grieving enough as it is. I really do feel bad for Hacks' parents and family since they were the ones closest to him, and no parent should ever, and I mean ever, have to outlive their children, no matter how old their kids may be. And if by any chance you're watching this video, I pray that your son will finally be free, being able to play Melee to his heart's content in the afterlife. I also want to say that it was good for Mewtwo King, Hungrybox, and Simple Flips for trying to be there for Hacks in his final days, when many in the gaming community were not willing to side with him. That's all for today. No cute outros or anything. I'll be linking the GoFundMe for Hacks' funeral in the description, as well as some noteworthy videos covering in more detail all the trials and tribulations that Hacks had to face. I'll even provide links to the National Unalive Hotline, just in case if any of you are in a position similar to what Hacks had to face. Take care and stay safe, because you do matter.